What a game. What a great start to tonight's matches. We knew this was going to be a pretty hyped series, mostly because BlossoM's improvement and that they were challenging the top 3 teams, but this was just a showcasing of the mechanical skill on the side of KSV Black.
Well, blah, blah, blah. Wolf talking about KSV Black once again. Yeah. Yes, but in this case, that
okay,
game,
Reddit.
they smashed BlossoM in game 1, and they are challenging BlossoM's favorite map, Spider Queen, as I mentioned. I think they can actually have the exact same draft, KSV Black, but BlossoM in terms, maybe it's about time they bring something else, like some Ragnaros possibly, that they love to run in this map. We'll see. Against the Falstad, if Falstad comes out once again, I don't think we should be playing Dehaka. He was always late in terms of tempo and the speed that KSV Black was running in TOD. And he could just never catch that.
Yeah, and that's part of the reason why is because they sent Falstad to the top lane a lot. So the lane was pushed in, so he had to either deal with that or they were going to lose a lot of soak. So he had to make some tough calls. This will leave Medivh open, by the way, with BlossoM having first pick. So this is a sneaky way, the Junkrat ban, to move us down that path. This is a much tougher map for Tracer. She doesn't have a lot of room to work with in terms of lane distance, so ganking is faster with a Tracer, sure, but you're also more vulnerable to heroes like ETC or Diablo, which we saw picked last game. So
Black is considering Maiev, but also thinking Medivh here, as BlossoM has the first pick, so they can't grab the pair, like the Medivh Sonya or Medivh Diablo. That's something else that Black will be thinking. Do we bend this one and steal the other ones away, or do we actually bend Medivh and not think about the Medivh at all?
10 seconds to go. Will be the Maiev. I think this is going to be a first pick Medivh. But as you say, they can't get Diablo, but will KSV Black prioritize the Diablo high enough to take it here? I don't think so. But like worldwide, Diablo has been rising up in popularity, including Europe specifically. We're seeing a lot more Diablo these days. So this looks like a pretty familiar draft for KSV Black. Banning the Maiev this time, but still picking Malfurion and Garrosh at the top of their draft. BlossoM has the ability to grab Diablo now. If they don't, they will probably be banned in the second phase.
I think it's the same picks coming up from Black. It's just saying we have all the protection too. We have the amount of healing. Garrosh can also save our allies when Diablo is trying to catch one. We can always toss that away with Wrecking Ball or into the fray for teammates. So Black is not too scared of what's going to happen. Leaving everything open, Sonya, Diablo seems to be the way to go for BlossoM, which they loved so much with the pairing of with the Medivh.
Yeah. Genji's still open. Hanzo's still open. They've got every choice that they could potentially want. This could also even be a Tracer rotation here. There it is. Turns out, Tracer's stronger than she was before, I think. We're talking about pro-level play here. Not Gold League. Not frustration. Diablo is banned. And Hanzo is banned against the Tracer. That's a very smart ban.
Want to remove all those arrows from the walls. It's quite a lot of choke points in the middle. So it's quite smart ban coming out. Of course, there's that Genji now, but much tougher against the Sonya and the Medivh with the protection now. Will be another tool. Might as well just grab that Blaze right now for Black in terms. They can also contest against the solo lane, against those burst damage, because you don't have a Medivh yourself anyhow. So why don't you just go for that long time sustain? You already have a Garrosh healing from Malfurion. I think Blaze is a pretty good pick.
Yeah. Blaze is a great pick for solo lane. I think in terms of DPS, probably thinking about something like a Cassia here, because that's going to give you long sustain damage and you'll be able to blind the Tracer. And otherwise, the only sustained damage they could grab is like a Greymane, for example. Ragnaros, okay, map-specific pick. We've seen this once already in part 2. It's not successful. Don't want to talk about that game, in fact. I don't even think it's relevant here.
And I think it was also Kyocha who played that Ragnaros. Died 3 times, if I'm correct, in the first 5 minutes of the game, and it was Spider Queens also. It wasn't against an ETC in that game, so I do remember Kyoja dying a lot. And this time has to be careful a little bit more, but the power-up rag really comes in when you're defending, or even as an offensive tool with the Molten Core going around and going for that secret core, Molten Core, or secret fort or key Molten Core. Helps a lot when you try to invade.
Ragnaros is has been played by Kyoja 3 times this year. He has a perfect win rate on the hero. Has not played it in part 2. I was thinking of a different game, but if he plays safe against the Tracer, Medivh might have a better time. Stitches Stukov. So we're going back to real old school here. This is the best map for Gorge in the pool because the walls last the longest out of any other map, and you have the least distance between lanes. So you can portal over the wall with Gorge, and you have the follow-up stuns of Sonya, obviously Stukov's silence. There's a lot of ways to make the Stitches pick work here. Even, frankly, against a Garrosh.
Yeah, that's not out of the option. And of course, Gondar's main hero, Stitches, has been the most played in 2017. So great to have Stitches back into game, and silence here. KSV Black, a lot of their escaping tools, of course, for all the heroes, remains on their skill as an escape. But if that silence hits big time onto Genji or even a Garrosh, they will not survive that time.
Yeah, certainly. If Ragnaros gets grabbed, he is dead. There's no way out. You're not getting your speed movement on your alt Q, like, it's not saving you. You're not getting out. You are not going to escape if you get pulled by the Stitches. Falstad is going to have a hard time if he's gorged. Gondar, you can tell by his facial expressions here, he's feeling the pressure now of this Stitches pick, but it's his most comfortable hero historically, but not as famous for it as he is for his ETC. Wow. Is this our first Stitches of the year in Korea? I think it might be the second one.
Maybe the second one?
Yeah, it's been a while. He was very meta in 2017. It was crazy how many Stitches we had.
I had a personal thought that we would see Stitches sometimes because Malfurion was rising up too much. But I guess in terms of CC and providing someone an escape also, Garrosh just wins that overall. But if you trust on Gondar's hooks, I think that's what BlossoM is really relying on right now in this game.
With Tracer's buff damage too, the hook silence, Tracer will be able to get a pulse bomb kill in that moment, and the increased just auto attack damage is so powerful.
Look at Kyocha just not even moving a bit, knowing that range of the hook.
Yep. That's what we call pro gamers. He's gonna head up to the top lane now. Gonna split off. And Stitches and BlossoM are roaming the 4-man going top to put the pressure onto Kyoja with the portal here. Meanwhile, Sonya relegated to off lane in the bot lane.
This time Gondar, in game 1 as a Diablo, had pretty rough time going in, trying to provide the CC because they actually were lacking CC. Diablo was the one had to go in, providing that kill onto Tracer. But oftentimes, he was the one getting caught without an escape. But this time, they had the protection from Medivh and the portal, as I mentioned in game 1. It's going to be a different style, and I think this style really fits them a lot more. Gondar oftentimes punished for going in lots of the games. And pairing up with the Sonya, even better in terms of damage.
Yeah. Just watching the movements right now of Kyoja. It's basically just putting reset into soul lane duty right now on the Falstad as he is roaming around looking for damage. The Ragnaros pick on this map very much, again, map specific for defending web weavers, also for denying turn-ins. There's a lot of things you can do with the Ragnaros pick on this map. But he's not a particularly strong soul laner here, because as we've seen Coach on the Ragnaros before in the past, if you stay in the top lane trying to push it on this map, you will get punished, you will get killed. Okay, Stitches has no escapes. Genji will go down here, however, to the hyper-aggressive nature of Dudu's Tracer. And you know what? They turn this fight around. Dudu does get grabbed there at the end by that meteor, but this ends up being a really positive trade for BlossoM. By the way, look at that. Okay, he just logged in. I was going to say, is he thinking about that untouchable?
Only for a split second.
But when you're literally in the Hall of Storms because you just got killed, you're probably thinking, maybe not.
Maybe not. I did die. Rich overextended a little bit there, also getting soaking a tower shot. I think he was about to survive if not that tower shot hit. But that's Genji though. If you don't overextend and make perfect plays, there's never a Genji that does the perfect job. But Reset actually caught, getting some protection from the teammates as he was maybe baiting that Tracer out.
Yeah, if Tracer had a pulse bomb, that would have been a dead false D-But. As we know, she's only about 80% at the moment. Silence coming down here onto the Garrosh. Very annoying to play against this composition as Garrosh, but he's got that armor. He will survive. He's going to be fine. So we just see the continual rotations around. In terms of gems carried, KSV Black is in the lead. But we're fairly close here. Wiz gets grabbed, avoids the root. Tries to go in for the stun. I think that was a mistake. That's going to cost him his life. And look at all the damage Reset is putting off here. Rich just going for a dash. So the dash build is the only way to play Genji in Korea. Does that damage and then walks away. This is an opportunity now for the turn-in with Sonya off the map. 20 gems coming in right as we speak.
Throws in a Gondar, which BlossoM would like to have. Falstad is coming, but there's no Sonya in this fight. So BlossoM has to back up.
Unfortunately for BlossoM, the Garrosh is more effective than the Stitches in terms of damage, tanks, in terms of picks. This is a bait for sure, but there's portals, so not gonna happen.
They have an escape tool, but they need to make BlossoM needs to be making team kills with those hooks. There has been no real follow-up with the pulse bomb with the silence landing on a target so far. They won that lucky team fight, but could have been a very hard tool if Stitches did not make out in the first place.
Yeah, oh, you're absolutely right about that one. That was what Black was trying to abuse, is the lack of escape for Stitches. That ended up being the counter for Stitches at the end of 2017 when he fell out of play.
Just body blocked all the way out.
Yeah.
So he's landing those hooks, but nothing pairing up. No pulse bomb, no silence, no poison spear.
Korean players were not always the best at body blocking, but after the Stitches and Zebo era, people got a lot better at it. Ooh, there's a hook on Kyocha. He is definitely dead. As predicted earlier, if you ever see a Ragnaros get hooked, you're not going to see him for much longer after that.
Ooh, but meanwhile, Falstad was up on top, getting that turned in, so Black will actually have the first turn in here into the game. And only level 7, but they are slowly rising up. They have the Siege, they have the Ragnaros, of course, has to come back from the Hall. But I think it's about time they start to snowball their lead, as they also have the global.
Yeah. This is a better trade for Black. You're absolutely right about that. Master Touch finishes on this map in 5.5 minutes. But the 10 that they get from this, how they use it is going to be up to them. Oh, losing this member right here though, the Garrosh grab.
Nicely
That's going to be
done.
a great start.
Silence into silence. Nice hook there to grab a kill on the Gondar, not on the Garrosh.
Yeah. Gondar's grabbing the hook himself. Still going to be a lead for KSV Black with these picks coming over for BlossoM. Just the map is controlled, the macro, and it's really low death timers. Tist has already respawned. So they just need to use this 10 advantage that they're about to grab in the brief window they have it to prevent BlossoM from getting a turn in while also farming gems. And that's going to be the job mostly of Reset. Grab you on the Rich. Silence means no dash out. And BlossoM is really, in this window of time, before Black has 10, they're actually catching up. They're making the Stitches pick work.
And they will get 10, maybe at the same time. But going to be interesting if a kill onto Reset happens also.
Shield there from the barrel roll barely saves him. And unfortunately for Wiz, there was still a wall there, yeah.
Yes. Poison Spear onto a wall? Yes. Still. On this map, you can have the laning phase go for 10+ minutes, so it's possible. But in terms of rotation and the flanks with the hook from BlossoM, seems like when they're ready, it's always good.
So this is where the Stitches pick really gets its flair for a brief period of time. And it's really important that BlossoM got the web. We returned it, otherwise this would not have happened. They would have lost all their walls. The Gorge Portal combo, what I think North American casters have called it a kidnapping strategy or something like that, but definitely feels like a kidnapping, especially if Lily gets grabbed. But Gondar positioning always to threaten angles for hooks. Hook means a Gorge, Gorge means a portal, Gorge portal means a dead hero.
So I think Black also chose Falstad to counter that Gorge in a way so he could never get into that portal. Possibly also saving his teammates and leaving Stitches isolated. That's also a possible way. So I think Reset that's exactly the angle that he should be staying in.
He gets pulsed right afterwards though. There's enough of a escape to get him out of there. Had he been, okay, here we go, here's the first one. No portal. Oh, just barely gets him over the wall. Tist here. There's a lot of armor. It's going to actually force the Tranquility to be used, but this huge silence coming down. Still, he survives. There's no follow-up damage here. Rich is coming through, dropping the Dragon Blade early in the fight. Good retreat here by BlossoM. This ends up being a pretty neutral exchange. Nobody dies.
It was a tough job for Black to actually make that. Ooh, almost got caught by the hook. If not, that's unstoppable from Garrosh.
Yeah, Wiz is a little bit off with the Ancient Spears today, but we'll give him a pass for now.
It was a weird timing onto the Dragon Blade, but still, as a defensive tool, I think the Dragon Blade came out to defend. Hold on as Gondar goes in, escapes with the portal once more.
Yeah, I think he underestimated how much damage his team could do at that moment to allow him to finish off those kills when BlossoM was chasing. It did end up being a disengaging blade. Yeah, if there was a portal for that grab, though, it would have been a totally different story, but they had to use it earlier for the escape.
Kind of weird. Maybe we're having some issues with the UI right now, but
yeah.
We're not really seeing any of the cooldowns onto Heroic, but let's spare with it right now.
Yeah, I was wondering about that as well. I'm sure we get it looked into in our break after this match, but you guys know generally the cooldowns of most of these abilities, so we'll...
Dragon Blade's still on cooldown. Very likely to come back soon.
Yeah. Gust is definitely available, and Polybomb and Gorge are definitely available.
We can build the... at least we can see... Oh, here's the grab and the Gorge, but Portal was used right before though,
yeah,
right?
Polybomb used as well. He should be able to get out.
And
also
also onto a Genji, so it's going to be easy.
Yeah, Nasang didn't have the silence. It didn't look like there. Gust here for the disengage. Gondar is going to find himself caught with no escapes. He's going to go down. They could look for more here. Wiz can't really escape. Gets caught by the Groundbreaker. Circle of Protection keeps him alive a little bit longer. Yeah, the Polybomb there used a little bit early too. I feel like if the Polybomb was used after the Gorge, so it would have also been another way to prevent the Genji from escaping, but either way, gonna be on cooldown for a little bit longer. We'll try to keep you guys updated on the big ones. Dragon Blade should be ready now. Alright, big push potential here for KSV Black. They're also gonna get the first walls down, which means that BlossoM will not be able to use the Gorge portal very effectively anymore. Sure, forts can still be effective with that, but the wall makes it very difficult to counter and counterplay. That's why it's such a strong combo.
Ooh, trying to catch Reset here.
Gust for the disengage again. He flies, and we'll get away.
There are some funny moments when Falstad tries to go over the fort and actually gets the fort damage and dies sometimes.
Yeah.
It does happen from time to time, but not
certainly.
in this case.
Happens in North America a lot. I'm not even kidding. I've like every time I see a Twitch clip of this, it's always from North America.
Why do you think it's always NA? I don't.
I mean, have you heard the story? Have you heard the famous story of Lag F? It's a similar story.
I won't go that far.
Have you seen the Falstads fly down the pits on Sky Temple?
Yes, I did.
Have you seen where are all these Falstad stories when they're all from North America? I'm just saying. I'm not saying, you know, North Americans are more bad at Falstad.
It's much more entertaining.
I will say that, but I'm not trying to say that it's because they're specifically from North America. I'm just saying, look, there's been a lot of incidents, all right? Not so many times in career Falstads are dying. You know, it's some good Falstads over here.
Of course it happens. I'm sure it happens, but much more. But there's that Rag, Gorge, Portal, the perfect one, and the perfect target to have that. There's a Circle of Protection. That's going to be a kill.
Dragon Blade and Gust anti-synergy is still going to be enough, though, to get Rich another reset here. He's doing so much damage onto the Sonya. And it ends up being a positive trade here for KSV Black's more divey style due to the last to survive here, as Gondar is definitely going to go down because his Stitches and Dudu trying to harass here nearly loses his life. So far the Tracer pick has not worked for BlossoM like it did for KSV Black, but they chose an unusual composition, something that worked for them in the past, but this is certainly not working right now.
As we can basically tell, Falstad is being the counter to that Gorge Portal pick. BlossoM is putting everything to get a single kill, when Black can actually use a Gust for disengage to isolate a few targets off of BlossoM to mess everything up. If that doesn't happen, they can actually still go in for the kill with the rest of the 4 members.
Well, you know, you're absolutely right. Let's talk about this boss. It's not going to do too much. Like, it'll damage the keep wall, but it's going to force BlossoM to be away from their Web Weavers. So they deposited a bunch of gems, all the gems they had. But this Web Weaver push shouldn't kill a single fort. Like, this Web Weaver, as you can see, is literally going to help defend the boss. The mid and bottom ones will just be cleared instantly. BlossoM, with this Web Weavers, should be able to get 16. But it's going to take a long time. Why? Because the only wave that's near them is the top wave, and it's only just now coming towards them. So all the minions in mid, they're losing all that experience. They're missing all the experience bot. They didn't kill anything with these Web Weavers, so they're not even 16 yet. All the Web Weavers are pretty much gone. It's this top one. This is going to be the push they have to commit to if they want to grab anything from this. KSV Black taking the safer rotation left here. Cannot take the risky one against the Stitches. 16 it, right around the corner. Now, Gondar, watch him. See which hook target he's looking for.
Fishing hook, upgrade.
Yep. That's a
Long
huge
range.
power spike.
Just going to pop that Molten Core as he just has that available. He hasn't been really using it at all.
It looks like he wants to get the grab on a Tist, you would think, or a potential combo there, but Tist is just always one range away.
Look at that big rotation. Stitches right on the front, right next to him. Nasang all the time, providing that silence. If the hook lands, reset, knowing that range, not even going to get close, as Black still has all of their forts alive. They don't have to waste the rotation so much, and when BlossoM is into an open space without their structures when they make that rotation, Black can just hard disengage with the Gust and go back to their own fort. Yeah.
Because that boss nullified the push too, the KSV Black during all that time was able to easily farm gems because BlossoM couldn't contest them grabbing them while they were defending. So they actually have another turn in here. Gonna see Falstad continue to control the macro to take out the last fort bot lane. That's the goal with those siege giants. Heading up, look at Falstad's positioning because he could easily turn this into a massive Gust combo. They need to be tracking him. That's why he's always staying behind the mini waves when he might gust in, so they don't know which angle he's coming from, where he's going to fly. Now that it's not, there's no longer an opportunity for that. He's just going to keep pushing. Although hiding himself now. Medivh's looking, can't find him. There's always the threat of that gust coming in from a flank. KSV Black now has the opportunity to turn in. After dealing with that wave, bot fort's dead. Gonna look for an engage here. Big grab, but it's on to Tist.
Portal's down, so perfect time for Falstad to come in.
Here he comes. Looking for the kill on the Modern Life, actually. There's the Gust right afterwards. Dudu has to recall, can't do any more damage in this fight. Wiz will be protected here, but it's very, very low. Everyone else is going to make it home with the portal. Well, there's that turn-in we were just talking about.
Well, all Reset has to wait is that portal, because once that Gust hits, portal can be used right after as an escape. But when you know if that skill is on cooldown, that's a perfect time to go in, make that initiation, and just focus fire. BlossoM, once they lost their positioning, all they could do was to just retreat, possibly not lose any more members. Sonya was unlucky not getting into the portal, only the first one initially, but next one didn't really get to her.
Yeah. One cannon tower knocked down here. That's closer and closer to 20 here as the Web Weavers come through. Falstad split pushing bottom to prep that Web Weaver wave. It was already damaged by the siege giant camp he took. You can see only one cannon tower remains. 20 is now on the cards. here for KSV Black, which means unlimited Dragon Blades, and potentially Wind Tunnel to end this game. He's going to hold it at 20. Everything else is standard. Remember, Ragnaros could take over this keep if they get any picks when the keep goes down. Grab here onto Falstad. No escape on this one. Polybomb as well here. Could be an opportunity. Reset still gets out, though. And he's going to look for the Gust.
And Stukov is already dead, so there's no silence of saving them from the retreat. That's basically going to be GG with the keep down, and they will go all in 21. As we see an epic mount, though.
Yeah, they grabbed the epic mount right after the... right after he was gorged, he locked it in. So that's going to be game regardless. Dragon Blade here forever on the core. KSV Black take the 2-0 lead. 12 kills to 7 in this game. They were down 7-1.